There we go. Okay. Tweed hated it. Tweed was a border collie who was flying with his family from Boston to the Virgin Islands in the early 1950s. This meant that he was in the luggage compartment of a propeller plane. It was noisy. It was shaky. It was scary. Tweed wailed and whined and whimpered the whole trip long, and by the time his family got him out of the crate, he was quivering and hoarse. Well, as if that weren't enough, a year later, his family had to go back to New England. The Virgin Islands simply hadn't worked out for them. But the mother of the family, Margaret, and Tweed's owner, was determined not to have him back in the luggage compartment. For one thing, it cost money. It made the plane fly lower because otherwise the dog would die. And then that made the trip longer. And besides, Tweed hated it. So she thought for a few days, and then she came up with a truly brilliant plan. Truly brilliant. But she had only 3 days to teach the dog what he needed to know about the plan. With some dogs, this would be hopeless. But Tweed was a border collie, a member of one of the smartest breeds on the face of the planet, I tell you. How many border collies does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, and he'll bring your wiring up to par as well. Well, Margaret got a special harness, put it on Tweed, and the plan was she would twitch to the left and the dog would go to the left. She would twitch to the right and the dog would go right. She'd pull back just a little and the dog would stop. She would say, "Forward, Tweed," and the dog would walk forward. She worked with him for hours. Hours, I tell you. The dog got it in 2 days. So the big day finally arrived. Margaret got up, got everyone dressed. Then she went to check on a few last-minute things, put her sunglasses on, and went outside. Then the truck arrived, and everyone got into the truck. The driver and the parents were in the cab, and since it was the 1950s and in the Virgin Islands, and there were no safety codes, everything else, the dog, the kids, the luggage, went into the open back. They got to the airport, and Margaret very carefully, "Here, Tweed," put the special harness on the dog and got out of the truck. Now, this wasn't actually an airport. I misspoke. This was an airstrip. They walked to the airstrip building with Tweed leading Margaret. And they got into the building, and there he was, the porter, the man in charge of luggage and crating dogs. He took all their luggage, put it on a cart, and then he looked at the dog. He looked at Margaret in her dark glasses. And he looked at the dog. And he said, "Nice doggy. Is he friendly?" "Oh, yes," said Margaret. "Can I pet him?" "Oh, no, he's on duty right now. Forward, Tweed." And Tweed walked forward, and they all left the airstrip building with Tweed leading Margaret. Honest, I wouldn't lie to you. And they got onto the tarmac, and they got onto the plane, and Tweed led Margaret to a seat, and Margaret sat down in the seat, and up, Tweed! Tweed took the next seat. The stewardess came along. Now, this is when they had stewardesses, not flight attendants. I'm not being politically incorrect. And the stewardess looked at the dog. And then she looked at Margaret in her dark glasses. And then she looked at the dog. And she said, "Oh, what a beautiful dog you have. Can I pet him?" "Why, yes, you can," said Margaret. "He's off duty now." "Oh, what a pretty boy. What a pretty boy. Aren't you the best dog?" "Well, ma'am, I have to go and see to the other passengers right now. I hope you have a nice trip." And Margaret said, "Thank you very much." The plan had worked! Tweed got from the Virgin Islands to Miami to Newark in the passenger compartment of the airplane, masquerading as a seeing eye dog. This story is as much about my mother-in-law, Margaret Helburn, as it is about her dog, Tweed. I wish I could have gotten to know her while she was alive. Thank you.